only with the Heretic Jar, using it up after he diminished his scroll, to charge that same fleeing unit with the chariots, making them flee off the board. So he's lost his entire Saurus unit and his Saurus character beautifully, and this still puts the Tomb Guard block within a frontal charge from the Temple Guard, and the Stegodon doesn't really have range to charge the Tomb Guard unit around the Temple Guard. He tries doing that in his next turn, but doesn't have enough range, forcing him to just charge my Tomb Guard with the Temple Guard. So this is a pivotal point here, allowing me to really gain an advantage in this game, and hopefully you guys understood how it was accomplished. Next photo, his Temple Guard charged in against the King. He was hoping to get the Stegodon in as well, but the Stegodon failed its charge, forcing the Tomb Guard to face they're forcing the Temple Guard to face the Tomb Guard on their own. A bad combat for the Temple Guard, given the fact there's two very powerful Tomb King characters in there. And the Temple Guard are just hard as nails anyway, so really looking forward to this combat. Next photo, in my following turn, he's got his Pterodons around here to actually attack just charge in and beat up the Liches, which are both on 1 wound each, unfortunately, due to his spells. But I've brought back the Chariots, or the third Chariot unit I had, and used some magic on them to charge at the Pterodons and pursue them and basically chase them off the board, which was perfect timing. Next photo, in other news, what I've done here is to charge the flank of the Cold One Cavalry with my 3 fast cav here, really relying on luck to resolve this in such a way that he only kills 1 guy, and therefore with me having flank and him having outnumber, I'll only lose a further 1 to crumbling, meaning that the combat has to go into the following turn, preventing him from charging the back of my chariots. The chariots have charged the Stegodon to the flank after it failed its charge, and they also chased the skink unit that you see behind the Stegodon. That unit has fled through the Stegodons. It's fled from the chariots, and it decided to flee because there's a skink priest inside the unit. And this turn has allowed me to prevent him from charging the Tomb Guard for quite some time. This is actually going to delay him significantly, allowing me to hopefully destroy all of the Temple Guard and make the Slann flee, and that will give me the game right there. So really, things are working out very well. Delaying tactics just working so nicely. In the background, you've got the Chariots charging against the Salamanders, and the Scorpion will be turning around to help eventually in the long run as well. Next photo. Inevitably, he was going to do this. The Pterodon riders charging the catapult crew, destroying them, and I've got the Liches on the other side. Don't really care if he rear charges my skeletons, because the Liches are safe, and there's no way he's going to wipe out a whole unit of skeletons with just Pterodons. But still losing the catapult there, that was to be expected. Can't really do too much about that. Next photo, really just going well, chopping down these Temple Guard. I've killed so many of them now, and he's decided to move his Slann right around to combat. And he's casting Flaming Sword on himself. He's taking Law of Fire instead of Law of Shadows. Personally, I would have gone for Law of Shadows, but he had some particular nasty plans in mind. And things going well for the Tomb Guard, but not quite killing enough guys in a quick enough space that I'm liking. Things coming down to the wire now, because he's doing damage to the other units in the background there, while his Slann has stayed alive and his Temple Guard, really have not been wiped out yet. Next photo, what's happened here is that the catapults have been destroyed, and those skinks on the left-hand side of the photo are fleeing. The Chariot's turning around right next to the Liches unit so they can be magic moved into the Pterodons and wipe them out as well, and pick up these skinks in addition. So that's a bit of a sweeping move to clear up my side of the table. Next photo, the Scorpion moving over to kill the Salamander, who's locked in combat with the Chariots. Chariots did charge in here against a couple of Salamanders, not quite getting the job done, but the Scorpion moves in and snips its head off. So, well, not with the killing blow, of course, but just jabs it to death. Next photo, a real desperate play by my opponent here, charging in with a unit of skinks, because there is only one Temple Guard warrior left, and if I kill that last guy, that means the Slann will be auto-broken by fear. But because he's got so many skinks there, and I've taken some casualties now, if he's lucky, I won't actually outnumber him. And what indeed happens in the combat is that I don't kill enough guys to get rid of the outnumber, and the combat continues, allowing him to get some of his other units into combat with me later. Skink takes a single wound. Throughout this combat, somehow the King has taken 2 wounds as well, just from Saurus Temple Guard hacking him up, so that's been really unfortunate. But yeah, things looking really close now. Managing to lop off 1 wound from his skink priest with his my Temple Guard. Oh, Temple Guard. God, it's hard to remember the names. The Tomb Guard taking 1 wound off the skink priest. In I think his final magic phase, he throws 2 dice at a spell to reroll 1s. The Portent of Far from the Law of Heavens. miscasts and takes a strength 2 hit and kills himself. So that was hilarious. I must say that he got irresistible force on at least 2 rolls during the game, even with 2 dice. So that was about time he did something like that. Next photo, you can see what's happening over in general side of the battlefield. The Chariot's in combat with the Stegodon and the Cold One Knights at this point, so they're gone. But that only leaves him with 1 more turn to charge the Tomb Guard, who are doing pretty well against the Slann, I must say. And in the background, the Chariots have been victorious. In the foreground, I've wiped out everything on my side of the board. His Skinks in the far left, top left of the photo, are running away. Next photo, finally what happens here is that the Chariots are finished and the Stegodon charges into the flank of the Tomb Guard. There's no Temple Guard left, so I get points for that. There's no Skink Priest left, but unfortunately haven't managed to break the Skinks and the Slann via fear, so when this Stegodon comes into the flank, it just wipes everything out. The whole Tomb Guard regiment crumbles. He has to take a curse test for both the Prince and the King for all 3 units involved in the combat. Of course, with leadership 9 and 3 dice and so forth, he doesn't fail any of them. But this is an opportunity for him to get a lot of points back into the game and wipe out my King. Unfortunately, couldn't seal a deal. It would have been a major win to me if I'd killed the Slann and those Skinks, but I couldn't do it. Next photo. Luckily, though, in my final turn, and before the Stegodon had charged in, I had flank charged his unit of Cold One Knights with my Chariots, thanks to my magic movement spells, and actually managing to wipe him out thanks to the flank charge there and overrun and just destroy everything. So that's more points for me and into that table quarter as well. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. It turned out to be a victory for me by a margin of 13-7 if you go by that 20-point ratio table for tournaments, and puts me in a very close contention for the lead in terms of this trophy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it. Thanks to my opponent for giving me such a close run, and really exciting game. Quite a lot of strategy and tactics involved in this one, and Tomb Kings managed to do it. It could have been actually a tougher game for both of us. In fact, I could have won by a larger margin, or I could have lost. Those possibilities were certainly there throughout the game, so that's why I enjoyed it so much. Thanks for checking it out. See you next week.